easy go.
Welcome back, YouTubers. Welcome back for another slice of pie, and this is another Destiny 2 gameplay video. In this video, we're going to be talking about Gambit. What is Gambit? How to play Gambit? What are the best ways to get through Gambit? And all that jazz. I'm your host, Pie Boy, and this is Pie Gaming. So, let's get into the video. With Gambit, alright, so, if you don't know what Gambit is a multiplayer PvPvE type game mode. It's a new style game mode that blends both your traditional player versus the environment, or your PvE content. So that's your campaign, you know, dealing with bots and such, right? Non-player characters, and the main focus of the game, the story of the game. You're going to be killing those type of combatants in this, and then also it functions around PvP, so that's your player versus player, your multiplayer online multiplayer experience. So what this game does, this game mode, Gambit, is it kind of blends the two together. So you got two teams, 4v4, and the idea is that you have to kill aliens, kill the different, you know, the races. You got your Cabal, your Vex, etc., whichever one fallen spawns. You take those guys out, collect motes as you kill them, and bank those motes. And you can mess up or slow down the opposing team by banking certain increments of motes, and the frequency at which you do will make enemy combatants spawn on their side and stop them temporarily from banking their motes. And you can do this to each other. It's a main dynamic of the game. And then at different increments of total amount motes deposited into the vault will allow you guys to invade. And this is where the PvP aspect of the game comes into play. So when you invade the opposing team, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, guys, I believe you can do it at 3 different increments before the primeval spawns. You do it at 25, 50, 75, and then you have the primeval, in which at that point, once your primeval is spawned, the enemy team can invade as frequently as they want, pretty much. I mean, there's a small delay timer from when you initially respawn as to when they can go back in once your timer is out, because it's a timed amount of, you know, I think you got like 30 seconds or something like that to be able to take out the enemy team. So from there, so we've covered invading. You got the 3 different points at which you could do it. You want to go, basically, you're going to go through the portal. It's right to the left or the right, depending upon your orientation of the vault, but it's always right next to or near the vault. It's going to be a portal, you know, little circle, you jump through it, right? Takes you to the other side. You take out the enemy team. Now, there are things that you can do to make sure that you're going to have a greater chance of success in taking out the enemy team. At least, if nothing else, you take out one of them. Hopefully, you can take out one of them that actually has a lot of motes, so you can have a denial there, and that always helps, you know, speed your team ahead with banking motes. But save your super. Not always, you don't want to keep it a ton of time, but, you know, having your super is a great way to take out enemy combatants. So it's heavy, you know, wait until you drop. Honestly, the best strategy I could say to do is to drop a bunch of motes right before you pop that, and you can go through the portal. It'll drop a large blocker on them, so they'll be distracted, taking care of the blockers, taking care of the ads, and they won't be paying attention to you. You come through with a super and heavy, which is what I like to do, so that way you double down on both of them. If you're using like something like Thunderlord or something like Sleeper Simulant, you know it's going to cut through them in a couple of seconds, and you're not really going to have to try. That's really where you want to go with it. And then if all else fails, if you're starting to get pinched or whatever because you didn't, you know, you missed your shots or whatever happened, you have that super you can fall back on, and hopefully at least you can take out a couple of them with the super. And that'll eventually, doing those things will help you in the long run and allow you to succeed at this game mode, which I feel like a lot of people are having a hard time doing because of the fact they have lack of communication, and I think a general lack of understanding of what the best way is to be able to play this game mode. You know, you don't always want to hang on to all your motes, because you have a maximum of 15 motes that you can collect at any one time, and at 5, 10, and 15 motes, you can, when you deposit those, will deposit a cause a different size blocker to appear on the opposing team's vault and stop them from being able to deposit motes, right? So the smallest ones are going to be your taken knights and they spew fire. Your medium blockers are going to be your phalanx. Those are the ones that you really want to drop kind of as often as possible, right? Those ones are the ones that I find are the most annoying. Now, if you have the ability to and your teammates have already all just dropped, you know, a small blocker and a medium blocker, maybe another medium or another small blocker, and you got enough and you're going to be able, you're real close, so you can pick up a whole bunch of motes and it'll allow you to drop a large blocker, which is going to be like large ogre level, you know, pain in the butt, takes a good minute to take, you know, to take down and get rid of, then yeah, absolutely do that. But more times often than not, it is always better to deposit either a small blocker or a medium blocker if you can. If it's relatively easy, try and do the medium blocker. That I feel like is the most taxing on the opposing team, the easiest for you. You get less likely to hang on to the motes and not be able to deposit them. And then now when we're talking about motes too and depositing them, you gotta pay attention to the bar at the top. Guys, come on, it's not that hard, right? You got a bar at the top, it shows you your opposing team's motes, and it shows you your motes. The gray area shows you the motes you've collected. The blue area for you, because you're the player, so you're always going to be on the blue side, is going to show the amount that's actually deposited. And it's the same for the opposing team. There's a gray area on that bar at the top with a little counter number, and then it'll have a red bar. And the red bar is what's actually been deposited. So you can kind of tell if they're teeing up, if they got a whole bunch, right, and they haven't spawned a portal to invade, and they got a whole bunch that they need to deposit, that they're going to be depositing it, and somebody's going to be coming through with heavy ammo, right? You know that's what's going to happen. So these are things that you got to pay attention for and look for and try and make sure that you can deal with, or that you're ready when they come through, that you have heavy or you have a super, or at least if anything else, you're paying attention to where they're going to be coming from, because there's only 3 spots that they could spawn in, right? The enemies only spawn in 3 locations, and depending upon where you're fighting the enemies at that time, the exact opposite across the board is where that combatant from the other team is going to spawn. Every time. Doesn't matter. Every time. They will spawn exactly opposite. So like if you're on that main, I forget the name of the board, so forgive me, but it's the one that kind of looks like the jungle. It's the main first board that we all saw playing Gambit, right? The one they debuted in the Vidoc and all that. If they're down at the water, then he's going to be over at the trees and caves in the back corner, right? If you're over at the back trees and then the caves in the corner there, then he's going to be popping out at the water. It's pretty simple. If you're in the middle, most likely he's going to pop out of the water. It's a 50-50 shot, but from my experience, more times often than not, if you're in the middle, he ends up spawning over by the water. He usually doesn't spawn over by that cave, but it can happen. So you got to pay attention though, and that's the biggest thing with this, is that this game mode can be very difficult and it can be very rewarding. To be able to take down that bounce, to go in and invade and take out those enemy combatants, because the nice thing about this game mode is that it's got a little bit of everything for everybody, right? It's got your PvP aspect for those that really like the multiplayer, like myself, but then it's also got PvE content for those that really like playing the PvE content. And I used to be that guy. I used to only solo queue. I didn't have a clan, I didn't have friends, I didn't have anybody else that really played this game. The couple of friends that I did weren't on all the time. So to be able to do the harder stuff, you need people in your friends list. You need people that you can connect to and people you can play with. But this has something for everyone. It's got matchmaking. This gives you a way to get better, but still has something for everyone to enjoy. And it's a good group activity. And if you go in 4v4 and like stack teams, oh man, it gets interesting. The PvP plays are crazy, and it's all about really managing your sightlines and managing your time, right? Because time can get away from you. They could spawn the primeval, and I've seen it happen where all 3 or 4 of them pop supers back to back. They chain them, and with that and a little bit of heavy, they take them down within 30 seconds, and it's kind of crazy. And that happens, but not all the time, and usually I've only ever seen it with fully stacked teams. I can't really say I've seen it happen too many times with a lot of blueberries. But hopefully these tips and explanation as to how Gambit works will help you in the future, right? right? That's the whole point of this channel, is that I want to share my passion with Destiny. I love this game. I love playing this game. And I want to help you guys get better at the game and enjoy it too. And I feel like if I can give you a little advice or explain how something works, it might make it a little bit more enjoyable for you. It's going to make it more enjoyable for everybody, you know, who's involved. Everybody you're playing with, everybody that you matchmake with, you know. I feel like you're going to have a better experience overall. And that is what it's all about. We're all here to have a good time. I do this to unwind. This is just a fun thing that I like to do. And hopefully you get some value out of it. As always, Guardians, this is another slice of pie. You're with Pie Boy, and enjoy your day. Like I said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I just wanted to let you know this video is going to be a little bit longer because Gambit matches typically are about twice as long as your standard Crucible matches or your multiplayer matches. Those typically run around 10, 15 minutes tops, somewhere in that ballpark, whereas these are closer to like 20, 25 minutes worth of your time, which isn't a bad thing because they can be very, very rewarding. Case in point, if you go through and you actually do the Malfeasance quest for the exotic hand cannon specific to Gambit. So for the rest of this, I'm just going to let the gameplay play out. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Leave a comment down, like, and subscribe if you want to see more daily Destiny 2 videos. Bye!
Audio Jungle. 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 Audio Jungle.